Welcome guys, it's AG. You're watching Math to the Max, and today I will show you polynomial synthetic division. Let's take a look at the first vocabulary term, coefficient. It's the number in the front of a variable being multiplied. So the first example, 5x, the coefficient will be 5. Negative 4g squared, the coefficient will be negative 4. Remainder is a number or expression left over after you have divided. If the remainder is 0, then the divisor goes into the dividend evenly, and we call that it's a factor. If there's a remainder other than 0, the divisor is not a factor of the dividend. So the dividend is just the numerator. The divisor is just the denominator. And the quotient is the answer or the solution to the division problem. Our prerequisite is just following the long division process with numbers. And you should already did it long division with polynomials. So how do we do this long division? What's the process? So first, you cannot always use synthetic division. In order to use it, you must make sure it's a linear function in the denominator. So like x plus 2, x minus 3, 2x plus 1, which can change to x plus 1 half because we divided by 2. All right, so it got to be in the form x plus c. C is a constant. And if so, you can do your synthetic division. Okay, we're going to set up the problem with the opposite sign of the constant on the outside for our divisor. Thirdly, we're going to write the coefficients of the dividend, making sure you have every possible power x starting with the highest exponent. So we call it standard form. And if it doesn't have that exponent, you must put a 0 to represent that power. The fourth step, follow the pattern. Drop, multiply, add. When you're done, this will be the coefficients of the quotient. And lastly, we write our answer. How you write the answer? You just place the variables next to the coefficient starting with 1 power less than the dividend's exponent. All right, we're going to look at these few examples on the board so you already know what time it is. It's time to go to work. All right, let's check this division problem out. So we have to see if we can do synthetic division. How do you know if you do synthetic division? Look at the denominator or the divisor and see if it's in that form of x minus c. Yes, it is. Now, when we do the setup, on the outside will be the opposite. So since that's a negative 2, the opposite of negative 2 is a positive 2. All right, that goes on the outside. All right, and then I'm gonna call this the inside right here. The inside will be the dividend's coefficients. Start with the highest exponent. The highest exponent, let's say, is 3. What's the coefficient in front of here? It's 1. So it'll be 1. X to the second. Do you see an x to the second power? Do you see x to the second power in this problem right here? No. So if you don't have no money, what number is that? 0. So x to the third, what's the leading coefficient? 1. X to the second, I don't have it. X to the first, the leading coefficient is 3, and then your constant. All right, now you're gonna leave a space right here. Some numbers are gonna go right here, so we're gonna leave a space. And then you follow the pattern. What's the pattern? Drop. Multiply. Multiply the divisor times this first number. So 2 times 1 is a 2. After you multiply, you add 2, but then you drop the answer, which is 2. Then you go back to multiply. 2 times 2 is 4. Then you add, which is 7, drop that answer. Multiply. 14. Then you add negative 5 plus 14 is a 9. All right. So now, after you did this, these are the coefficients of the answers. This is so much quicker. Synthetic division is so much quicker than long division, but you can't always use synthetic You can always use long division. All right, these are the answers for the coefficients. And now, if I do this, what's x to the third divided by x? It'd be x to the second. So that's why in the notes I said it's going to be 1 degree less than the dividend. So x to the third, what's 1 less than the third? X to the second. So this means our answer is going to be 1x to the second plus 2x. You just go down in descending order. Plus 7. And the last number is always called your remainder. So your remainder will be 9. And how do you write the remainder? In the notes it says over the divisor of x minus 2. Final answer. Number 2. So look and see if you can do synthetic division. And you can. Now, I know it said just an x and a constant. However, I can divide this by 2. So let's do that. So 2x plus 1, if I divide this by 2, this becomes, 2 divided by 2 is that 1x, and you just got a plus half. Alright, so that's at the bottom. 2x plus 1 is the same thing as x over 1 half, I just divided by the 2 in the front. Okay, so remember you do the opposite of that. So negative 1 half goes on the outside. And then the dividends coefficient going down in descending order based on the exponents. X to the third, x to the first, x to the third, x to the second, x to the first, then constant. So it's already in order. So just write the coefficients. 4, negative 8, negative 3, 1. All right, leave a space. Drop, multiply, negative 1 half times 4 is going to be, so half of 4, what's half of 4? $2, but it'll be negative. Add those, negative 8 plus negative 2 is negative 10. What's half of $10? $5, but it's negative times a negative, so it's a positive. Add, negative 3 plus 5 is a 2. Half of 2, because you remember you always multiply. Half of 2 is 1, but it's negative, because it's negative times 5 is negative. Add, you get 0. The last number is always called your remainder. The last number is always called your remainder, so the remainder is 0. Now, how do you write the answer? 1 less than that 3 would be x to the second. So our final answer would be 4x to the second minus 10x plus 2. You're done, because the remainder is 0. You don't write the divisor. You don't write the remainder over the divisor because there's no remainder, 0. Final answer. All right, let's look at number 3. Number 3, the last one, number 3. So ask yourself, can you do synthetic division? So if you look up here, how we know we do synthetic division? If the denominator or the divisor is in the form of x and a constant. This is x squared and a constant. So this is no. You cannot do synthetic division. So in order to divide these, you have to do long division. So this problem cannot do. All right, so just keep in mind, in order to do synthetic division, make sure this is in the form of x minus c. If it's a coefficient in the front, you can just divide that coefficient. Then when you do the setup, you do the opposite coefficient on the outside. The opposite of that constant. And then on the inside will be the dividends coefficient in descending order. So if we were to do the dividends, it would be 4, then 0. Why 0? Because I don't have an x to the third. And so it would have been a 0. Then it'll be a 1, negative 1, and then 7. Those would have been the dividends coefficients. And then you do the pattern. Drop, multiply, add. Drop, multiply, add. Drop, multiply, add. When you get that answer at the bottom, those will be the coefficients of the answer. You just go down in descending order based on the exponent. So since I started out with x to the fourth, then it would have been x to the third, x to the second, x to the first, and then your constant. That would have been the answer you've done. Hope this helps. You will do this in pre-cal for those that want to go into higher levels of math, and you will use long division or synthetic division to find the oblique or slant asymptotes. Hope this helps.
Thanks for watching. Until next time, always striving for excellence and reaching for success.